So with the dress, the stress is not applying too much of an effect because the release time is too far. So it's a constant gain reduction. You can kind of see it on the fader that it's a constant gain thing. You see how it's pulling back that fast? You want to tighten that up and then create some space in between the notes so you can actually hear the effect of the attack on the compressor. That's kind of important. A lot of people, like when they put when you put compressing on shit, you have to make note of your release times. Well, especially for EDM, right? EDM release times are generally tempo based, right? So you have to calculate like, how many milliseconds between a half a beat if you want your decay on your release to be half a beat, right? And meaning you have a small short sound that's only about an eighth note long, right? So that means you can pack 4 of those fucking things in before you hit the next beat, right? And that's your kick drum. So you have 2 kicks. First kick, boom, boom, and then like say second kick is your kick snare kick, right? So like your upbeat, not your downbeat. So downbeat, 4 eighth notes, and then 4 16th notes. So you have to take however long the milliseconds are between the first kick drum and the second kick drum and divide it by 4, right? So if let's just practice this here. So if I say I don't know, what am I, 112 BPM, right? So I say 112 divided by no, I have to first convert 112 BPM to milliseconds, right? So 112 BPM in milliseconds. So if you just Google like whatever, you can do BPM tempo calculator or whatever, BPM calculator or something. BPM to MS, or try that. Delay time calculator, that'll work. All right, so I have what, 112 BPM, and then I want an 8th note. Or no, a 16th note. Now it's 134 milliseconds for what I would assume is a whole bar. No! Delay and frequency I was using the wrong one. So 112 calculate. There you go. So 1/16th note would be 133.929 milliseconds. So my release time is going to be half that. So 133.9. Well, let's just say 134 divided by 2. 67. So 67 milliseconds is what you'll want for your release time if you're doing a 16th note length on something that's going on like an 8th note or an off measure or whatever. That's like kind of where you want that, because it's fucking EDM, you know. Everything has to be exact or close to, and it could be around there. I think Ableton's actually defaults around. What do they do theirs at? Like, okay. Yeah, their release time's like 50 milliseconds, which is pretty quick. But you'd want it at, ideally, it just depends on the compressor, to be quite honest. So what did we say? It was 67 milliseconds. And of course, the fucking distressors just give you a value of 0 to 10. And I don't know what those times translate to, but you can figure it out just by playing it and seeing it on the VUs, on the RMS. So if I play it, oh, it's way faster now. So now if I take my note length and kind of just shorten up the filter or something goofy. Yeah, it's like spanking it, which is kind of cool. And then you can parallel that, and for parallel compression with outboard gear, it's just a matter of doing that, but then, you know, lining up your hardware latency too, because you have round trip TSP happening. On a console, you wouldn't need to do that, which is another reason why I'm getting a console. But when you're doing it through DSP round trip, you're gonna have to. So the best way to actually test that is to bypass your gear. So now it's a straight bypass. And I hear that weird flange sound. Well, you want to get your samples to line up so that it stops flanging. And that's as close as you're kind of going to get it. I'm sure you could calculate it. Like you see here, I'm at 776 samples. So you hear the delay. But as you tighten it up, looks to me around, it sounds to me, and you'll hear it, it sounds like a cup filling up with water as you increase or decrease the hardware latency on your round trip, because you're inducing latency. And that's if you go 50-50 dry wet and you bypass the gear, so you're hearing a duplicate of the exact same signal coming in going out. Well, in this case with a negative 5 dB gain reduction, but it doesn't matter. And then if it's at 0, plug-in delay compensation doesn't just magically fucking work. It never works, ever, so never trust it. Use monitoring like this, like going from dry to wet. So doing that shouldn't change the sound at all. So you find that midpoint, and then you start adjusting your buffer so slightly till it rings, and then it sounds like an additive thing as opposed to like a flange, which means, like, you know, if a DJ's playing a record and the other one's just slightly out of time, you get that like weird flan. The tighter you get that, then you'll hit like, you know, like a certain phase of the sound of it adding onto each other, and just creates it twice the volume. So as soon as you start to hear that high pitched weird flange thing line up with that, then you know you're good for delay compensation. So when you're dealing with external hardware and stuff like that, always be mindful and do this manually, as opposed to doing delay compensation or reduce latency when monitoring. That's bullshit, dude. I never trust that shit. Because then if I add another plugin, something else happens, you know? So just food for thought. So now I know my latency is bang on. Now I can go back and then fucking boop, unbypass it. Now when I apply parallel compression, meaning like just go dry wet with it, it makes more sense. Because without it, that's too gnarly in the low end, like in terms of amplitude, and then when I have it wet, it squashes the fuck out of just that and lets the high end kind of basically stay where it's at. So the sound is essentially sausaged. And we can monitor that, actually, again, and this is why I recommend this a lot, is if you go to, not L1, what is it? FabFilter makes a fucking limiter that's like whatever, you know, you can use it on anything really, but I use it as a monitoring tool because you can size this GUI and it shows you, you know, what's going on with your sound. So this is wet, so you see all that dynamic range that you may or may not want depending on what you're trying to do. So this is dry before it's getting peak slammed. And then when I turn on that, it's going to average those peaks out a little bit better and kind of unify the sound. So then when you start mixing your level, you know, you're truly moving that whole range up and down really at a uniform volume. So food for thought. That's what compressors are actually for. They're not for sidechaining the fuck out of everything. Numbnut. Just saying. So then when you're done, well, you don't need this because we were bypassing that. I was just using it as a monitoring tool, really. Whoops. Now I see the lag. We can't see the waveform. Really lagging. Get off Walmart internet, man. And then once you have like a really full-bodied, rounded sound out of the fucking thing, then you can go in and, you know, add delays and reverbs and all that shit. But I wouldn't do it pre-compression. I'd do it after and then compress again. But not compress again to the point of effect, but compress to use as a utility to sit it in a mix as opposed to something that just spanks it all over again, you know? So now that I've got that sound, I can do whatever I want. And go crazy with all those like parameters. And then you can go in and you know, start modifying and shaping your sound and all that shit. You know, it's sticking around. And this is kind of, I don't know if you guys have watched some of my masterclass already. It's just doing that. Now I have this clip, and I can record that audio if I want, or better yet, you know, save the clip data within Ableton and then into the fucking spank bank and use it for something later, or work on it now. Put a kick drum behind it, throw some loops in, and start mangling shit, and then start mixing and all that stuff. So, I mean, that's how shit gets done. You know, it's like you work on a feature of your track, and then you expand outwards from that. You know, and my feature just so happens to be, you know, my melodies and stuff like that. Whereas the arpeggiator might not be all fucking 16th notes straight out of the gate for the whole time, even though sometimes they are, sometimes they're not, you know, and then you print it and fucking play with it. Mr. Potato Head, bang. Yeah. But here's the fucking good news is that, you know, yeah, I use Serum, but it's the way that I did it. So it's like Serum, then into a UAD plugin, Thermionic, which surprisingly sounded a lot like the hardware. I could have used the hardware. I could have not. It didn't matter because it sounded the same. Then I'm doing an external audio effect, giving it, you know, some edge for on the distressor, and then back through a delay, and then compressed, and then reverb. You know, so it's like a whole big thing just to get a sound that you're not going to hear, because if I group the audio effects, right, and I take the effects off, this is what it is. And that makes the difference, because that first one without the effects, like this shit, it's dead, it's dry, it's, you know what I mean, there's no character to it. It sounds like a fucking computer, you know what I mean? It's like, and I can understand why, you know, a lot of, you know, musicians and engineers are like, I fucking hate EDM. And I'm like, well, yeah, you know, like, I can see why, because you get a lot of, it's too clean, it's too precise, it's too cold and calculated, you know? Whereas you get all this, like, not, I mean, even just without the reverb and the delay, that's got balls, it's got character, and bonus points is no one's gonna sound like that ever, Really. You know what I mean? I mean, sure, yes. Anyone with a UAD plugin and a couple of distressors could probably come close, but I'll tell you what, Marshmallow ain't gonna fucking do it. You know, so it's like I don't have to worry about people ripped off my preset that I used on Nexus and everybody's fucking using it. It's like the Cymatics FM AIDS that has fucking plagued the fucking dubstep community. You know what I mean? It's like I use the wobble preset better than, you know, fuck, man. It's just, you have to be creative if you want to fucking stick out. Now, it's not even a matter of how loud your beats are, how fucking good you are. Even if your shit sticks out, and that's what's gonna put you in a fucking place where it's like, no, it's not, it's totally this thing now, you know? So just think about it, you know? Of course I know my fucking shit. Why do you think Masterclass called me up one day and said, hey, bro, want to teach it?